A mother dog lay tied to a tree, her tiny puppies huddled at her side, while hungry wolves circled closer. Abandoned by a cruel man, her fate seemed sealed. But no one could have imagined who would step in to save them, and what followed left the world speechless. A man stood in the clearing, his eyes cold and unfeeling. Without a trace of compassion, he tightened a thick rope around a German shepherd's neck and secured it to a sturdy tree. The mother dog, exhausted and weak from giving birth, looked up at him with pleading eyes. But her silent cries met no mercy at her side, for tiny puppies squirmed helplessly, searching for warmth. Their soft cries pierced the stillness, but the man only turned away, his boots crunching against the earth as he walked deeper into the woods. To him, they were nothing but a burden, lives too fragile, too insignificant to matter, left behind. The German shepherd pressed her body close to her litter, her chest rising and falling with shallow breaths. She pulled against the rope, but it cut into her fur and tightened against her throat. She whimpered in pain, yet her only concern was shielding her puppies from the cold ground. The forest closed in around them, shadows lengthening. Alone, bound, and abandoned, she had no idea of the greater danger lurking just beyond the trees. The hours crawled by, and the mother dog's strength began to fade. Still, she refused to rest, keeping her eyes fixed on the tiny lives pressed against her belly. Each whimper from the puppies pierced her heart, urging her to endure a little longer. She pulled at the rope again, digging her paws into the dirt, but the knot refused to give. The coarse fibers rubbed harshly against her neck, leaving her skin raw. Pain shot through her with every movement, yet she pressed her muzzle against her puppies, comforting them with soft nudges. They were her reason to fight, her reason to survive, but survival seemed impossible. The forest was alive with distant noises, an owl hooting, branches snapping under unseen weight. The German shepherd's ears twitched at every sound, her body tense with fear. She knew she was trapped, unable to run or protect her pups if danger struck. As darkness deepened, shadows stretched longer, creeping closer with every heartbeat. Somewhere in the distance, low growls rumbled, a warning that something was watching. The night air grew heavier, thick with tension. Leaves rustled in the shadows, followed by the unmistakable crunch of paws against dry earth. The German shepherd froze, her body stiff, ears raised in alarm. Her puppies stirred restlessly beneath her, sensing the change. Then, from the darkness, pairs of glowing amber eyes emerged. Wolves point one by one. They stepped into the dim light, their fur bristling, teeth glinting beneath curled lips. Their low snarls rumbled like thunder, vibrating through the ground. The pack had caught the scent of weakness, an easy meal. The mother dog shifted, planting herself firmly in front of her puppies. Her chest puffed despite the rope binding her. Fear raged inside her, but her gaze stayed locked on the predators. The wolves circled slowly, their eyes narrowing as they studied their prey. One lunged forward a step, testing her resolve. She responded with a sharp bark, her teeth snapping at the air, forcing it back. The puppies whimpered louder, huddling against her belly. She pressed her body tighter to shield them, her heart racing. She knew she couldn't fight them all, but she would not surrender. If this was her last stand, it would be for them. The mother dog lowered her head, lips curled back in a snarl. Every muscle in her body trembled, but not from fear, from determination. She barked furiously, the sound echoing through the silent forest. Her voice cracked with exhaustion, yet each bark carried a mother's defiance. The wolves flinched at her cries, but didn't retreat. Instead, they spread out, forming a menacing half-circle around her. Their growls deepened, saliva dripping from their fangs. The mother pressed her body closer to the puppies, shielding them with her frame. The rope cut deeper into her neck as she lunged forward. Straining against it, desperate to appear larger, stronger, her pups whimpered and nuzzled against her chest, trembling from the vibrations of her growls. Tears welled in her eyes, but she did not falter. Alone, bound, and hopelessly outnumbered, she stood her ground. Against the darkness, against the predators, against fate itself, she was ready to fight for her children. No matter the cost. Just as the wolves lowered their bodies, preparing to pounce, a sharp sound cut through the night, a commanding whistle. The pack froze, ears flicking, eyes narrowing toward the trees. The mother dog blinked in confusion, her snarls faltering for the first time. Out of the shadows, a figure emerged, carrying a lantern that cast long beams of light across the clearing. It was a forest ranger, drawn by the echoes of frantic barking. His uniform was worn, his boots muddy, but his presence was commanding. He raised his voice, shouting at the wolves, waving a sturdy wooden staff. The predators hesitated, growling uneasily, their glowing eyes shifting from the helpless mother to the stranger who dared interrupt their hunt. The ranger stepped closer, slamming the staff against the ground. The sharp crack reverberated, scattering birds from the treetops. The wolves snarled in protest, but the firelight flickering in the lantern and the man's unshaken stance forced them back. Slowly, reluctantly, the pack retreated into the darkness, their eyes glowing one last time before vanishing into the trees. The clearing fell silent again. The mother dog trembled, still shielding her puppies. But for the first time, hope flickered in her eyes. The ranger's lantern swung gently as he hurried forward, his eyes widening at the heartbreaking sight. The German shepherd, ribs visible beneath her matted fur, crouched low over her puppies, still growling weakly. The rope around her neck had rubbed her skin raw, leaving angry red marks that bled faintly under the strain. "Easy, girl," the ranger whispered, lowering his staff. His voice was calm, steady, carrying a warmth that contrasted with the cold night. He knelt carefully, letting the mother catch his scent. She growled once more, then whimpered, as if realizing this human was different. The puppies stirred, squeaking softly, their tiny bodies pressed together in fear. With careful hands, he loosened the knot. The rope fell away, and the dog let out a shaky whimper of relief. She didn't run. She simply collapsed beside her puppies, her body trembling. The ranger quickly scooped the pups into a thick wool blanket, tucking them safely against his chest. Then, with surprising gentleness, he lifted the mother into his arms. For the first time that night, she no longer resisted. She was safe. The ranger carried the weakened mother and her puppies through the dense forest, his lantern casting a warm circle of light with every step. The night still echoed with distant howls, but the danger was behind them now. In his arms, the mother dog stirred weakly, her eyes half closed, yet she never stopped glancing toward the blanket that cradled her babies at last. They reached the ranger's cabin, a humble wooden shelter tucked safely between towering pines. Inside, the fire crackled, filling the room with heat and comfort. He laid the puppies gently onto a soft bed of cloth, then placed the mother beside them. The German shepherd immediately curled protectively around her litter, licking their tiny heads as if reassuring herself they were truly safe. For the first time, her body relaxed. Her eyes lifted toward the ranger, shimmering with gratitude. She pressed her nose to his hand, a silent thank you for the second chance he had given her family. Days turned into weeks, and the once helpless family began to thrive. The puppies grew stronger, their playful barks filling the cabin with life. The mother dog, once frail and broken, now walked with renewed strength, her eyes shining with trust each time she looked at her rescuer. The ranger never forgot the night he found them, nor the way she had fought against impossible odds to protect her young. To him, they weren't strays. They were survivors, a family bound by love and resilience. And so, what began as a cruel act of abandonment became a story of hope. Because in the darkest moment, compassion had stepped in and changed everything forever.